breaking news now. Officers on the scene of a fatal shooting in Madison this morning.
News Channel 5's Dan Kennedy is on the scene for us. And Dan, we understand that this man, I guess the body was actually on the neighbor's porch?
Yeah, according to neighbors and what they're telling detectives, they heard some gunshots. They came outside and they saw this 56-year-old white male dead on their porch. Happening now, the coroner is just arriving on the scene. So detectives beginning to wrap up. The coroner pulling up will now remove this man's body from the scene. It will be taken to the medical examiner's office for a full autopsy, where we hope to learn a little more information, including how many gunshots this man suffered from. According to the neighbors, they heard multiple gunshots. Here's what the scene looked like a little earlier this morning when they got the call at 2:30. Again, they've been out here going on 4+ hours talking to neighbors, any potential eyewitnesses, and trying to piece together what happened. They're also working to identify the victim. They do know his age, 56 years old. They know he's a white male, but they don't know what he was doing in this neighborhood, if he lives here or if anybody here knew him. They're also working to identify any suspect description, and once we get that, we'll of course be sure to pass it along. But homicide detectives this morning at the Madison precinct, busy working this one. It was on Queen Anne Drive and Old Hickory Boulevard in the Madison area, just up this street where there's about 12 or so trailer homes. Happened on the front porch of a family who heard those gunshots last night. Reporting live this morning in Madison, Dan Kennedy, News Channel 5.
Dan, thank you. Also breaking overnight, crews battled a house fire in Madison, not far from where Dan was standing. Take a look at the flames on East Campbell Lane around 4:30 this morning. Firefighters arrived at the home to find flames coming through the roof and the sides of the house. The person who called 911 says an elderly couple lives at the home, but after 2 sweeps of the house, firefighters did not find anyone inside, thankfully. There is heavy damage to the home. No word yet on how that fire started.
And happening now, police in Kentucky are investigating a shooting, and the victim is not making things easy on them. The Kentucky New Era says that a man was shot 4 times yesterday morning in Oak Grove. Officers say that man is dodging some questions, though, about who shot him, telling them he didn't see anything. He does have gunshot wounds in both legs, an arm, and his abdomen. He went to Skyline Medical Center and should be all right. Several robbery suspects behind bars. They're accused of targeting gamers at an East Nashville church. 4 people arrested. Police tell us they robbed a couple playing Pokemon Go just outside of East End United Methodist Church. Police used the Find My iPhone app on a stolen phone to track down those suspects, and there they are, and here are their names: D'Angelo Fisher, Emmanuel Taylor III, Anthony Gray, and John Trez London Jr. They're all facing multiple charges this morning.
And a woman is recovering this morning from devastating injuries she received in a crash. Police say the driver went off the road yesterday, sped down a hill, and flipped next to a McDonald's drive-thru on Murfreesboro Pike. The passenger, a 71-year-old woman, was critically injured. Police say, according to the driver, speed was a factor. And a Murfreesboro man is fighting for his life after crashing a car on Osborne Lane. It happened early yesterday morning. Investigators tell us the car left the road, smashing into a mailbox and a brick subdivision sign before ramming a parked car. The driver was rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Steve?
Just as the nation, Amy, starts to heal following the Dallas police ambush, there's developing news this morning. Investigators looking into another deadly police shooting down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. These 3 officers you see right here behind me, all dead, and there's another officer fighting for his life. They were targeted by a gunman, same kind of scenario that we saw in Dallas. Let's get the latest on this case out of Louisiana.
Mourners in Baton Rouge came together Sunday, hours after the ambush killings of 3 of the city's finest, including 32-year-old Montrell Jackson, a veteran officer who leaves behind a wife and infant son.
My heart is broken and torn, but I believe that God is still a healer in the midst of what we're going through.
Jackson, along with officers Matthew Gerald and Brad Garafola, were shot and killed Sunday by Gavin Long. The ex-Marine from Kansas City opened fire on the officers who were responding to reports of a man dressed in all black with a gun. This 911 call captures one of the officers' desperate pleas for help.
I'm hit. I'm in front of on the side of the old Floyd Browns by the coal wash.
As part of their investigation, authorities are looking into the gunman's social media activity for clues into the attack.
you gotta fight back. That's the only way a bully knows to quit.
Just a week ago, the gunman posted this video under an online alias on YouTube, railing about police violence against African Americans.
If we come together as a family peacefully and talk it out, we can fix our problems.
From the White House Sunday, President Obama said an attack on the police is an attack on all of us. Don Champion, CBS News, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
41-year-old Nicholas Tullier, an 18-year veteran, remains in critical condition. There's a 51-year-old officer, Bruce Simmons. He's a 23-year veteran of the force. He's being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. To show their condolences for the Baton Rouge Police Department and the victims' families, the Tennessee Association of Chiefs of Police is now asking that all Tennessee law enforcement officers shroud their badges for 1 week. Basically, that means that they cover the very center of their badge with a piece of black tape. Amy?
Well, tonight is the first night of the Republican National Convention in Cleveland, Ohio. It's being billed as the Make America Great Again convention. Each day will have a different theme. Tonight is Make America Safe Again. After the shooting in Baton Rouge, the head of the Cleveland Police Patrolmen's Association is asking Ohio Governor John Kasich to suspend the state's open carry law for this week. Kasich says, however, he does not have that power to do so. Meantime, Tennessee Governor Bill Haslam will be in attendance at the RNC. He'll be there until Wednesday. Many GOP leaders across the country have opted to skip this year's convention.